Look, if you don't want to make that change within yourself, it's not going to get better. This might not apply to everybody, but if you feel like you're rock bottom, okay, and you're hoping for a better day, but you literally are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's a definition of insanity. You are provided with a choice every day. You are provided with multiple choices throughout the entire day. Take that choice, make that change. You've identified a problem. You're saying you're rock bottom. Got it. You're there now. There's only one way, and it's up. So change your mindset. Use that choice and go a freaking different direction. Love y'all. Faceman VTT out.
Day 3 of retirement. As an infantryman, I was asked if I could clean the sink. So let's look at this. Definitely some kind of grime on there. And I open up the cabinet. What do I use? Nothing comes to mind. Like my experience is my skill set. Nothing. Wait a minute. Everyone knows this is how you clean everything. Infantry, retired.
You can just take it.
Would you like a military discount?
Do you offer one?
Honestly, cap of the day.
Thank you.
CC's Pizza is the county fair of restaurants. You go in there, you look around, you feel a little bit better about yourself, then you realize that you're in there too. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, let's be honest. You know, not everybody's made for this life. It's scary. You know, you gotta jump out of a plane while it's moving. That's not natural. It's high, it's fucking wet outside sometimes. It's snowy, it's hot, it's dry, it's shitty. Who the fuck would want to be airborne? Best job I ever had.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 116
So excited
of the Trash
today.
Talk Hour. Special guest today is Joel with Ranger Essential Coffee Company. Special guest hosts are Mike Levine from Vet TV and JC. And as usual, I'm joined by Nick and Buddy. Happy Saturday. It's fucking 6 in the morning here.
Jesus,
7.
what happened?
Jesus,
7?
I'm hurting.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm hurting this morning.
Fight show was brutal.
Airport.
You know, I have that hard retired life where I went golfing and then drank a bunch of bourbon and then did a fight show, drank a bunch of bourbon, and now I'm awake. Like, oh, terrible.
Every day, repeat.
Such a tough life.
El Paso, you only need to make $12 an hour to be rich. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
We were just talking about that a few
Paso.
minutes.
I grew up in El Paso.
Nice. Yeah, that's I live on the new west side, the new money they call it. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, hey, did you guys know that El Paso is actually Spanish for the Paso?
the Paso, I tell that people all the time.
You guys know?
Yeah, I always go gracias. That's Spanish for thank you because I've been in El Paso for 3 years, so I'm pretty much fluent.
Pretty much fluent.
Hola.
Hola.
Could be worse. He could be like one of those dudes. We had a sergeant major at one point that was a first sergeant, left the 2505, went down to El Paso for the sergeant major's academy, got divorced, met a Spanish woman, came back, and wore a gold chain outside of his shirt and started speaking with like a Hispanic accent and was brothers with all the Spanish people in the battalion, and they were just like, we remember you when you were just a normal nerdy white dude, right? Like,
El Paso makes you hard, man.
Yeah.
I was probably a nerdy white guy when I was a kid.
Hey, Joel, how old are you? You were there for the cartel wars, huh?
Actually, I wasn't there, but I'm 47. So I moved there in 87 and then was there for
there
a
you
bit.
go. That's a great commercial for Ranger Central Coffee. Makes you young. Look at that.
Makes you young. Look at you. I'm 47.
Yeah,
but
Jesus
all I drink is
Christ.
this.
Yeah.
That's all I drink. Yeah.
It's his lighting. It's his lighting. That's why he still looks that goddamn good.
Nah,
Yeah.
Oh, there's the wrinkles. No, he's beautiful, man. So I think he might take over JC's VTT's heartthrob. We'll wait for the females to respond. We'll see what they say. So
We'll see what the fan mail
let's
says.
see what the-
My wife would be actually very happy with that.
Yeah.
It's the whole reason that I come on the show is because
to get attention.
Yeah.
See, babe, these girls like me. That's the first thing we got was, hey, bring that guy on again. He's gorgeous. That's the first thing I got from him. VTT's heartthrob. So
Yeah.
all
I don't
right,
know what
let's.
the content was, but damn, look at his biceps.
Well, he's taking steroids now. We don't know what talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Not-
I have
not
no
right
idea what
now.
he said.
Not right now.
Yeah, all these Ranger guys, they go on deployment, come back 3 months later, like 400 pounds heavier.
Swole.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
and
two
100%
categories, there's two
muscle.
categories of rangers, right?
Yeah.
The smart ranger and the strong ranger. So
Yeah, the breacher and the guy who carries the goose stuff. So
The strong ranger always looks swole. The smart ranger gets testosterone, apparently.
Apparently.
But all right, Dave, what do we got? Wake up.
Well, we got a conspiracy as usual. All right. And for those of you that are watching, this is how we kickstart the dumpster fire. So there are some pictures up. I know Chris put them up for us right here. We can't see them unless we go to Facebook. So we're going to talk about
JC's high school photo.
The Ural, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Ural Kholat Zihali incident. Dead Mountain incident in Russia.
Is that the one European language you don't speak, Dave?
I don't speak Russian.
Wow, you can't,
I don't know.
You can't
Is Russia European or is it Asian?
You can't really consider Russia a European either, buddy. But there's your history lesson.
They tried to take over Europe. They lost.
It's in both Europe and Asia. So
well, I guess
Eurasia.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be considered a European country.
We're smart, Mike.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about these hikers that were hiking Dead Mountain and ended up dead. So this happened back in 1959. A group of 10 hikers set off on a hiking trip to conquer Dead Mountain. They call it Dead Mountain because there was no wildlife, harsh terrain. Like nobody went up there to hunt. Like literally nothing could survive up there. They head out. These guys are experienced as they've done multiple hikes together. Partially into the hike, one of the guys was like, hey, I'm getting knee pain, everything. They're like, well, you need to go back because you're not going to survive this hike. He ends up going back. The other 9 keep going and never return. Okay. Eventually, families like, hey, where are these boys at? So they send out a rescue team, police, the military went out there as well. They come up on the tent that these hikers had and realized that it was cut from the inside. Okay, so like they escaped. They were running from something extremely fast. Some of them didn't have their boots. All right, some of them didn't have their clothes on.
Never
about
went
a
to
mile
Ranger
out.
school.
Yeah, about a mile out, they find the first 3 bodies. Partially naked. Okay, cause of death, hypothermia. A couple miles later, they found 2 more bodies. They were by a tree. And it looked like that they were trying to climb up the tree, okay? The tree was missing branches and everything. Same scenario, dead of hypothermia. Then they found the next 4 bodies like a couple weeks later. And these guys were missing eyes, missing their tongues, had severe trauma to like the chest, but internally, like they were hit by a fucking car. Severe trauma to the head as well. And there was radiation on them as well. And here's the thing, I don't know why they would be testing for radiation, but they found radiation on them as well. Until this day, nobody really knows what the fuck happened. So there's a bunch of theories out there that it was, they came up on a site where there was military testing going on, like a robbery, chupacabra or Bigfoot or whatever.
Chupacabras are in South America.
Yeah, I don't know, like a Russian Bigfoot, whatever.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah,
Russian chupacabra.
Damn space aliens, man.
aliens is a theory as well, because supposedly there's always strange lights in the sky over there, monsters, whatever. But till this day, they still don't really know what happened. Avalanche, okay, but I don't know how it, the brain damage and all that good stuff. So my take is, after looking into this a little bit further, I think they got slaughtered by like a Russian military group or something. I think they stumbled upon something
that Russians wouldn't do that.
And they got slaughtered. Because initially it's like, okay, maybe it was a bear or something that fucked them up. But then how do you explain the missing tongue and
bears gotta eat
and shit? Like that's some savage shit that went down. So I don't think it was an animal. I think it was military. Radiation as well. Like, why was it radiation? I don't know. Obviously, nobody has the answer to it, but my take is military. They came up on a site that they weren't supposed to see, and then they got slaughtered. And that's
so. I want to challenge your
Mike. You're first in the shoot if you want to.
I want to challenge the research skill, your research skills here, real quick, because
I did this when I was drunk last night. All right.
I think that's the case because the picture on the lower right is, in fact, Nick at about 4:30 this morning.
Yeah.
That is the beard, the eyes rolled back. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
A lot of people wish to take my tongue out, so they're still going after it.
Yeah.
Won't he just shut the fuck up? Nope. Sorry.
So, Mike, you can give us your take.
Looks like a guy that was drinking bourbon all day and fell asleep in the snow. The only thing I can't explain is snow in El Paso, but as I understand, that happens on occasion.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what's your take? You can be first in the shoot. You can give us your take. What happened on that mountain? What do you think? How did they die?
Space aliens, man.
Aliens, I like that.
Unexplained trauma to the body.
Yep.
Something that isn't readily, if they wandered onto some type of Russian military installation, what are they going to do? Hit them with trucks? I mean, you'd get shot.
That's how they literally explain it too. They said the internal trauma was as if they were hit by a vehicle.
Yeah. So this was definitely some type of, blunt force trauma. I'm thinking like a force field beam from the alien ship that just freaking smashed them all. They probably were visible in the craft of some kind, and everyone was frightened as hell. They started trying to climb trees and shit, thinking they'd get away. Not going to happen. You're going to die too.
Yeah,
man. That's definitely some space alien shit.
Mike,
I like that.
When you said about the force field shooting thing, all I could think of was like a couple aliens that look a lot like Nick and Dave had one of those photon guns, and then Nick shoots them. And they get hit by a truck and die, and Nick just looks at it. He's like, "Whoops, turned up too high."
So it's pretty interesting what Mike said, because I didn't even talk about that, but they did say that there were the Russians were testing some force trauma shit at like a bomb that could create force trauma. I read that as well. So you're bringing up something that definitely could have been a possibility, which I think leads back to
all bombs create force trauma.
No, but it was like some special bomb that can. It's some, I don't know, buddy. I don't know.
Concussion bomb.
Man. Yeah, maybe it was a concussion bomb. I don't know.
But
it does talk about that.
You didn't say that there was any outward burns or explosive trauma or anything like that. It was just like you said, they were smashed with something.
Correct. And then the fact that they started running, they were in their tent. They're like, "Fuck this, we got to run from whatever is coming," and then they ran, without boots on, without their clothes. Some of them, weird shit. Okay, so aliens is usually my take 95% of the time, because that's what I always talk about. Yeah. But a good take, Mike. I appreciate it. JC, what you got?
So I think that the military did it to him, and it's not. And I don't even think this happened. I don't think it was right. I think what they did was they got these bodies and they cut them all up and they planted them out there so nobody would go into that region anymore. And that would explain the radiation because they had already been killed somewhere else, and then they transported them there and did all these gruesome things and said. Now, I say all that to also tell you that there's an article in National Geographic about actually what probably happened to them. But that said, I like
You use the primary source. We use Google.
Yeah,
better than what National Geographic has a theory, and it's not half as sexy as my theory. So.
See, typical officer move there. While the rest of us are just coming up with this, he's actually doing research. I mean, you know,
thanks for ruining the conspiracy.
We don't want to know what really happened.
Google said otherwise. Okay.
My dad said this happened. So my dad could beat up your dad, so that's what happened.
All right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to go with.
All right. Joel, what's your take?
Yeah. You got to unmute. Strong Ranger.
Yeah, Smart Ranger. Hey, I think the radiation comes from, look, if you're in Russia in a lot of areas, you might stumble onto some radiation, Chernobyl, some of the other disasters. So maybe they came across something, and it sounds like to me like they got far enough up that maybe some tundra wolves came into, like a wolf pack came into their campsite, and maybe one of them even breached the tent and got in, and then had it inside eating them and attacking them. So there's a reason to leave the tent, and then they're all running around. You know, these tundra wolves can get up to like 175 pounds.
Tundra wolves.
So they have a mouth that could eat a tongue out if they want to, and they would rip people apart. So I would say a wolf pack maybe could do it.
Interesting.
There was only one wolf in the pack.
The radiation would already be on them, because that's normal in some parts of Russia. Just maybe they visited Chernobyl before they went up there.
I like tundra wolves.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I never would have thought of it. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good theory. The only thing that I always think that I thought with that theory is the fact that like no animals would even go up there to hunt, because it's dead mountain for a reason. But maybe they figured out that, you know, these hikers
found a way.
It was like, hey, here's some fucking lunch, you know, or dinner. Let's go get it. And there were no visible scars, like scratches or anything like that, you know. Because the first 4 or 5 that died was hypothermia. Like they were just straight up frozen, half naked, you know, no boots on. And the other ones that died, those were the ones that were missing eyes and tongues and shit.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was wolves though. You never know.
Tundra wolves.
Tundra wolves. Yeah.
That doesn't sound as cool if you just say wolves.
It does. Tundra wolves. Tundra wolves gives it some, you know, some mystique to it or whatever. Yeah. Buddy, what's your take? What's your take?
I hate the fact that I know more about this theory than some of you might. First of all, it wasn't just a group of hikers. There were college students that were coming from university.
Hikers.
Yeah, but it was mixed with women and men. One woman.
Mistake. One woman.
First mistake you took.
No, it was one woman.
Never take a lady to go on a weird hike. Secondly, the area, nobody was there for a long time, but they reported, when people have reported going up there, and there's some weird electromagnetic and frequency modulations that go up that were like making them feel woozy, lightheaded, a bunch of other stuff. So the one theory is that they were up there, they got that happened, and then they just kind of lost their shit. It was like they were drunk or messed up or whatever, and they were in their tent. They tucked their way out, and then they just ran around like fucking idiots. It's kind of like hitting a nitrous hit when you're diving and you get drunk and then start taking off your mask and doing dumb shit and die. Kind of the same thing as their theory that it happened. And I think there are a lot of natural anomalies that don't really have a lot of explanation, because you know when you go there you die. So
you mean people in Key West get drunk and scuba dive? No,
if you go deep enough, you get enough.
Not the Army guys; they wouldn't do that.
You get real drunk. When we did our deep dive, I got drunk, kind of. I felt drunk, and then a shark swam by, and I got real sober, real fast. And I was like, "Whoa, that's the fucking shark, guys! It's a big."
The man in the brown suit came.
So what's up with the missing tongues then, and the missing eyes and shit?
People can do weird shit to each other. You know that, right?
Of course.
They can like cut each other's tongues out, stab each other's eyes out, because they think that it's a way to get away. Because when you're scared and
If you're hungry, there's a lot of nutrients in the tongue, I heard.
It's not even food, but people just do weird shit.
Yeah, tacos de lengua. I heard they call it in Juarez. That's a delicacy. But
So they were drunk and they went crazy. Is basically
No,
what you're
not
saying.
drunk. They got
altitude sickness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's not even altitude sickness. They actually use
buddy, I'm trying to help you out.
They actually use part of that series to try to figure out which is the animal that we could use with weapons to fuck people up.
Hey, tell the airport to shut up.
Tell the airport to shut up, buddy.
Yeah,
We can't
say
hear-
I'm
we
on a
have to
show.
hear shit. Tell them you're on
Hey,
the
they
show.
probably-
They're probably calling for these douchebag active duty guys to get on the damn plane.
Yeah.
All right, we can't hear what Buddy's saying anymore, but good take, Buddy. Nick, what's
Yeah.
your take?
So I mean, this is obvious. Okay, I've been thinking about this for a good 3 minutes, and it's, I know JC.
I'm sorry. What Nick means to say is that while everyone else was talking, he was memorizing the Wikipedia page. So Nick, go ahead.
Yes. No, I actually was thanking you for the stars on the page. It's your first person to ever send us stars. So good. I think it's like $2.
I
Right?
got
Yeah,
fucking
if you're
5 stars, Nick.
if you're not worth $2.99, God damn it, who is?
Yeah. Who is? I mean, somebody's got it. I mean, this is a tax write-off. So he was $3 over budget. So now he's good. Now he's good.
We gotta
for
wait
April.
till we reach 100 though to cash out. So
Yeah, so I mean, obviously JC was watching Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, and that's where he got the they planted the fake radiation there to keep people away. So I like that, and like I said, I base all of my knowledge off of movies and TV shows. So this is exactly how this happened. So if you look at the time, right, and then you watch the movie 300, where they send the little boy off into the wilderness to kill the tundra wolves, right, and to do all this, that was actually Putin at 7 years old. Okay, they sent Putin to Siberia, right, to train, and he ran into these hikers, and this is maybe like, this is my mission, like I have to prove my worth to the KGB, right?
Please
And
tell me he rode up on a bear in your story.
yes,
100% with no shirt on.
Where do you think they got that
where
picture
the
from?
tongues,
He was
the
just
tongues and the eyes.
reactivating it, and you could rule out aliens because there was no anal damage, right? Everybody knows when the aliens come, they probe you, right? Everyone knows this, right? So it's a science, right? Fauci said it, and it is what it is. So no aliens. I like JC's theory, but we all know it was Putin. So I'm going with Putin.
Okay.
At 7 years old. Is that how old he is? Am I even close to that? So see,
Putin.
I already got agreement on the chat.
Only has to
See,
have-
it makes sense
only
now.
has to have 10%. Only has to have 10%.
Yeah, Brittany Powell says it all makes sense now. Okay.
You're welcome, Britt. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here for you. I'm here to clear everything up.
Mike is actually in the chat. You could have just said it, but I feel
Yeah.
dumber after hearing all of this.
Everyone's GT score just dropped 7 points.
That's okay. I know S1. They can fix it for a bottle of Grey Goose.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's how I got into Ranger School. I went to S1 and gave them a bottle of Grey Goose. They changed my GT score so I go. It was good. I can say that now. I'm out.
You're out. You can do it. They can bring your ass back
You know,
in too.
Yeah.
Funny story.
Yeah, we'll talk to
I have a
Troxel
buddy-
about that. Man, you send that little blackbird in my backyard. That was a great
Okay,
story.
well, good take. Good take. Some say it was aliens. Some say it didn't happen. Some say they just went crazy. Wolves. Yeah, and then Nick's take. I like that. Yeah.
Putin, for sure. So
All right. Well, that was a bit of a dumpster fire.
yeah.
Buddy, do you have an honesty cap? If we can't hear you properly at the airport, then I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, well,
mean,
Alex
it's
has
pretty
a
good
friend
right
that's
now.
a ranger. Well, guess what? You just made 6 new ones. Well, not Dave's not a ranger. He didn't do anything. But yeah, so you just met 5. There you go. We're all friends now. Dave was too good for ranger school. He would have punched an RI in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm not a ranger. I just played one on TV.
Oh, that's right.
There you
That's
go,
right.
Mike.
Hey, that's
There
good.
you go.
That's reality. Movies. All right, buddy.
No.
Sorry.
Buddy, what you got, man?
So I don't know. I feel like there's not really an honesty cap. It's really just a open it up for discussion thing. But so we're shooting down Chinese balloons. So we shot something down in Alaska the other day. Apparently, we're sending tanks to Ukraine. The Chinese are mobilizing like 1 million troops. Russia's unhappy. Iran is putting all their stuff down in their bunkers. I mean, to me, it looks a lot like we're all getting ready for World War III. And I see a lot of people like saber rattling and talking about how how they're all ready for it. Come, let's get this and this, that, and the other. Like, what do you guys think is our job as retired or old veterans to kind of tell people that maybe they need to sit back and like, let's talk about this. Do we really want what you guys think that you're asking for? Like, we've all been there. We've all done that. Like, is it time for veterans as a whole to stand up and say, hey, look, if we have to go to war, cool, we got this. But maybe we should take a second, stand up and say, take a deep breath, have a drink of some vodka or some bourbon, and then figure it out. Maybe we should take a second, stand up and
JC, your volume's on.
have a drink of some vodka or some bourbon, and then but I like it because then I can hear myself back.
Sorry about that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would think. Are you done, buddy? Is that it?
Yeah, he just wants a discussion on this.
Yeah,
apparently.
I always hate, lumping, disenfranchising a minority, which veterans are a minority of people in the United States. So when we say that all veterans know what we're talking about, we've already proven that on our page is not true. A lot of veterans don't know shit. And they come at you with that, those are the ones you're probably talking about. It's like, yeah, we'll fight a war. Like, okay. And my good friend Josh Sullivan, he watches once in a while. Old Josh Sullivan, Ranger Sullivan said, when people do that, he goes, are you ready for your grandkids to fight that war?
Yeah.
Like, are you ready for your son to fight that war? Because you're going to fight it, and then they're going to fight it. Like, are you ready for that? Because that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I agree with you. I always know let's go fuck up China crowd. Like, hey, easy. We probably would, but come on, think about it a little bit. Yeah, that's my take on that.
I'm with you, Nick. Obviously we've seen combat. We've been through the depths of hell together. Some of us served in the same platoon. And thinking that could happen on our own soil, and knowing that our loved ones, kids, would experience that, kind of like what you just said, Nick. Fuck that. Like, if it happens, obviously, a lot of us will know how to react and stuff, but fuck that. Like, I don't want that.
Well, Sergeant Major Box says, hey, daughters will fight it now too. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely
the other thing that people don't really think about is that, it's one thing to talk about going and fucking up the Taliban. It's one thing to talk about messing up Al Qaeda or ISIS. China's got planes.
Yeah,
Russia's got planes.
It's also different when you're talking about it on your own soil.
It's a little different when it's peer to peer. You know what
correct.
I mean? Like,
correct.
Not to say that they should be scary. We have better stuff. Granted.
We do.
But it isn't going to be as like, let's just go roll over Russia and China. It's not going to be a thing.
JC's ready to. He's itching over there.
Look, here's the deal. We're already at war. We are at war. We have to. The United States of America has to recognize that war doesn't look like it did in Afghanistan and Iraq. We're at war and we're losing. So they can say, hey, let's go screw them up. Yeah. All our kids probably have TikTok on their phone. Okay. So the information operation and the campaigns that are going from both Russia and from the Ukraine and from China, they're like, we're being influenced right now. Everything that's being done is part of this war. And, we can call it phase one. We may even be in phase two right now. But I think the next war, everybody understands the stakes of the next war, right? Which is nuclear weapons, which is, mass casualties. So I think we're looking at war a little bit differently. We can't have the Great War anymore. It's got to be this war by proxy, like what you're seeing in the Ukraine. And then we've got all this war going on with China is absolutely destroying us from the inside. And we see consistently in our schools. Now, tell me this. Tell me
drag shows.
And look, I don't want to be. I'm not a xenophobe, but let's be honest here. There are more American universities that have Chinese students that are paying full tuition coming into this country. We're giving out their visas to come in because they pay full price, and the colleges need them to pay full price. Otherwise, our kids don't get scholarships, right? And we're allowing this to happen. They're coming in. I'm not saying they're all spies or they're all doing stuff, but they're going back to China. And so if we don't think we're at war, So we can have all this big tough guy talk of shoot it down. First of all, that's just like you don't have any clue what's going on in national security. Whatever. Okay.
I do.
Appreciate everybody's like shoot it down. Okay. Because there aren't smart guys looking at the problem. We need everybody's opinion on this, but if we're not looking, my wife and I were talking about this the other day. If we really took a hard stand against China, the United States would crumble in about 2 weeks because everything we have is made
economically. Yeah.
We would be in a major depression. So that's my take on it.
Okay, I can see why I was invited to this show.
Oh, here we go.
You were invited to like 6 shows. You just never show up.
Well, there's that. So our kids, the theory of our kids being sort of indoctrinated through TikTok, etc., their parents are being influenced by Fox News, by OAN, by Newsmax, because a lot of those same talking points that I just heard from JC are to me a result of some of that persistent narrative that we are somehow in this crash course toward war. Because I mean, everybody on this call should recognize the 4 elements of national power. Military is just one of them, right? You've got diplomatic, you've got information, and you have economic. I don't disagree with what you said, JC, about, if we took a hard stance on China, it would disrupt us because the, majority of our more inexpensive goods are produced in China. The flip side of that is we're China's largest export partner. So it goes both ways. Where we used to have mutually assured destruction with nuclear weapons and the Soviet Union, we have an economic mutually assured destruction with other parts of the world. So it's not just as easy as saying, screw those guys, we're going to put them on, we're going to put, trillions of dollars of tariff on their goods coming into the country because like we're their largest producer, or we're their largest consumer, and we are their largest consumer of goods, and they are one of our largest trading partners. If India were to kind of step up and take over our footprint or enlarge their consumption footprint, they're close, but they're not they're like a distant second. That could cause us some problems, but. I keep hearing this persistent narrative of how these near peers were so close to, whatever, and then all this other politically motivated talking point bullshit that goes on with our schools and drag shows and all this other shit. That's noise in the atmosphere. If you want to talk about information operations, those are the kind of things that keep us distracted from paying attention to those near peer adversaries. Those are the things that keep us from focusing on what is Russia really doing and what is their aim with Ukraine. What is China's real sort of objective with their expansion in the South China Sea? What do they really want to do with Taiwan? We're too busy worried about bullshit and Twitter than we are things like that.
Well, hold on. So wait a second, Mike. So for clarification, JC mentioned China and then mentioned the economic part, and it sounded like you invalidated it a little bit, but then you came back and said yes, China, and then you mentioned economic and these other things. So
well, just the focus on war, or starting a war with China, like China hawks, turning that into some type of generational near peer conflict, like that doesn't ever need to happen. Like there's too many pieces of connective tissue between us and the PRC economically and diplomatically for something
money
like that to ever go.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would. I see what you're saying, Mike. Nobody would benefit from it. And then let's talk about nuclear war. Like we're all dead. Like who's going to fucking start that shit? If China launched a nuclear, then we're going to launch our nuclear weapons. And then in the end, fucking nobody wins. I don't see that.
Well, nobody ever wins in war.
Right. But we're talking nuclear here. Because Buddy talked about nuclear war possible or, whatever they're scaring us with. But it's true. Like, nobody fucking wins. China needs us, too. Their economy is thriving because of us.
I heard a nonpartisan economist. I heard a nonpartisan economist talk about this a little bit about 2 years ago. And, they're talking about like the national debt and, the trades with China. And, he was sitting there, think about it this way. He was like, we give China paper or digital numbers in a computer, right? We give them $30 million on a computer transaction, and they send us rubber, right? They send us actual product, and it's like we don't. And then there's another good book to read, The Age of Genocide. The Obama's UN secretary. She does a really good job of explaining certain conflicts and why we didn't get involved or we got involved. And it was always money. Like there was some senator in Arkansas that had a $500 million grain credit to Iraq in the 80s. So when they were gassing the Kurds, they blocked that actually from calling it genocide, because if you called it genocide, then they couldn't trade with them anymore, right? And there goes your $500 million grain credit. Like, bye. So Arkansas was like, yeah, we're not gonna call that genocide.
Money is the root of all of it.
Ethnic cleansing,
Well,
right?
there's
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
there's
JP
also
Morgan said it.
something to be said about. There's also something to be said about.
Look what you started, buddy.
Yeah, look, and I don't watch OAN I don't watch any news. But what I do want to tell you, Mike, is I think that you're overemphasizing the requirements that China feels towards us. In the last 3 years, they have increased their refined petroleum product as an export about tenfold. Okay. So before, I would argue, yeah, you're right. Computers, telephones, those were their leading exports. We are the number one consumer of those things. But their refined petroleum over the last 3 years, by their own accord, has gone up. You know who's using refined petroleum? It's not us. It's Liberia,
aliens,
Pakistan, it's Chile.
The reptilians, actually.
They are starting to see they're making the change. I think they're being very, very thoughtful on making the change of we cannot be over-reliant on the United States, especially with what they're doing. So, and I'm not calling for war. I'm saying it's already here. We've already done it.
Well, yeah, the information war has been, it's been happening.
And now what we have to do is figure out how do we minimize the casualty, in my mind, and that's the economic casualty that'll cost. And they've said, you can read Mao's philosophy from 50 years ago. It was about changing the culture of the United States, which I do think that they're doing very effectively. So
here's another theory, and not to grab my aluminum cap out.
Way to interrupt,
but
buddy.
sorry, but it is my honesty cap, Dave. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, did you read the fucking script, Dave?
Here's a
this is turn.
Here's a theory that, and I don't want to grab my aluminum, hat or whatever, but there is a mutual beneficial or mutually beneficial thing that some people are also talking about, is the fact that we talk about the consuming of goods and services from the United States and China and Russia, and we send food all over the place. Well, there's also the fact that the world has too many people. And in order to control an amount of people, you need less people. So if China has less people and we have less people and Europe has less people, then we set the clock back about 100 years. And then we're more easily controlled by the world state or the dark state or the fucking whatever you want to call it, right?
No, I'm a big fan.
Are you saying that we want less people? I didn't catch that.
Hell yeah, they do.
If you, so I listened to an interview that Elon Musk did on the whole, we're overpopulated, and he talks about it that we're actually underpopulated. Like at the rate that we're going right now, like just in the U.S., less people are having kids, and it's too expensive. Right? No, he also brought it up. Like the easiest way to see is how many diapers are sold, and then who the diapers are going to, and it's actually going to the elderly instead of to the kids because nobody wants kids. And then China, they had that rule.
Nobody in the States.
10 years ago, they could only have a certain amount of kids. That's no longer a thing. And he talks about this, and we're actually decreasing in population, where they're giving us a scare that, it's too many of us. No, it's actually, he says, if we continue going down this trajectory, it's going to be a big problem. So our population is actually decreasing right now.
What population are you talking about, Dave?
This
the
is
US
United
population?
States. I'm just
United States. You're not talking about the global population.
And then I talked about China as well, buddy. Look,
China does it the right way.
They
just
a pretty
kill
smart
everyone.
guy, buddy. All right. But anyway,
so everybody needs to let me say something here.
Yeah, Joel, what do you got?
Yeah.
I've tried to several different times, and the only way is to just jump in. So
yeah, that's dumpster fire.
So on China, something that everybody needs to look at is China's Belt and Road Initiative. And they've come out and they've said that by a certain time that they basically want to be the superpower and they're going to achieve it however they can. And that's their initiative. And as of like 2022, there was like 151 countries that were enrolled in this Belt and Road Initiative. And basically, it's it's a world trade. They looked at America for years and they're like, we need to do what America was doing. So it's not a secret that they want to become the number one power, and they'll do it however they want. I'm of the mindset that I could care less, about global trade. Now, companies are heavily embedded into trade, logistics, and all this kind of different countries, but America, just as a country, it's self-sustaining. We have farming, we can manufacture, we can do everything. We could keep it all here if we wanted to. Are we going to? No. High percentage, high probability, the answer is no. And it would hurt too bad for all these companies to basically, change their supply chain. The closest we probably have gotten to this was during COVID, where companies realized they fly 20 hours to China and then they get everything cheap, but now everything isn't really that cheap anymore that is sent over from China. It takes however long to get here by container on a ship, or it's being flown over. That's expensive. But after COVID, people really realized, they're like, wait a second, this is a supply chain nightmare. And when this breaks, we can't get anything in. So they, in the last couple of years, have been basically leaving China and going to Mexico, which I think makes a lot more sense. It's a few hours away from most people, other than the cartel issue. But I've been to Mexico a lot in the last couple of years, and cartel's one thing, but in terms of manufacturing, maquiladoras and all that kind of stuff, I mean, you're in El Paso. There's a lot to offer there. So
huge trade right here. Yep. A lot of houses on the mountain where you make your money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People coming over from
Juarez. Yeah, cocaine.
Yeah, but you look at initiatives like this the Belt and Road Initiative, the new China, or the new Silk Road Initiative, and people who don't understand the four instruments of national power look at something like that as China's insidious influence on the rest of the world. How China is trying to take over. Like as a sovereign country, they don't have the ability or the right to do that. I mean, they're a competitor. So we have to look at this as what do competitors do? They compete. So
it's
really hard.
China purchases farmland all over the country, all over the world.
Right.
But and America is one of the only countries actually in the world who allows that to happen. So most places you go in the world, you can't even buy property or open a business unless you have some sort of percentage with the indigenous people that live there. So
that's why I always when I come back and be like, we should be more like Denmark. I'm like, go to Denmark and try to get a fucking job.
Hey, the way we work, that's the free market. That's our system. Yeah. So if we don't like shit like that, and I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, there was all the concern about Japan buying up real estate in the U.S. and there was grumbling and mumbling about that, and it's like, then I mean, you must not like capitalism, because that's capitalism, man.
Well, yeah, the Hawaii
capitalism can exist in a country without people who aren't citizens coming in and participating in capital and purchasing out the entire country.
Yeah,
it's not the entire country.
The king of Hawaii didn't let the Japanese vote.
Yeah, I'd love to see what the actual percentage is, and not just the rhetoric. I'd like to know.
It could become a problem. So in Texas, there's
greatest country in the world, Texas,
and there's lands being purchased right next to Air Force bases, and the senators and the government's really looked into it. In Houston, the consulate or the Chinese embassy was one of like the biggest spy ring embassies going on. They had to shut it down. So is that funny?
What's funny is, and this goes back to the balloon thing too. What do you think our consulates do and our embassies do in every country of the world?
Yeah, watch Jack Ryan.
There's always an element of intelligence gathering. every
Of course.
single place
Well,
there's a
I'm acknowledging
U.S.
that. I'm just
government.
saying it's not right. I mean, I don't,
Yeah,
still.
it's a good
but
opinion.
I guess
I can handle all this because I'm the insecure one now. Everything you all just said was bullshit. Okay, everything. All right. So
but
everyone
Joel,
knows
back to
Stalin,
no.
Klein
Let me finish this one thing. So we're competitors. Competitors compete. I'm going to look for the same advantage over China that China is obviously through their their programs they're looking for against us. So the real question is, how can the U.S. compete with that? Will the U.S. compete with that? And how far are we willing to go to win, whatever winning looks like? And do we actually know what winning looks like?
Yeah, I mean, you could just look at me. I win every time. Dave knows this. I was, best athlete in 1999 and voted on by my peers. All right, so it is what it is.
Class clown.
Class clown, 1999 too. I got the two best awards in high school. All right, best athlete and class clown. But anyways,
you beat me on the 2-mile run. Good job.
I did beat you in a 2-mile run by at least
3 seconds. 3 seconds.
But yeah, that's a fun story to talk about again. Yeah, that's where I lit up that cigarette right after I got done running.
You ran at
11:03, and I run up a cigarette, and the sergeant major started yelling at me, and I was just like, he's like, "You smoking during PT?" I'm like, "Sergeant major, I just finished a PT test."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Wait, hey, what was your run time?" I go, "Hey, Sergeant Auger, what was my run time?" He was like 11:06. I was like, Sergeant major's like, "Good job." See you later. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna skip JC's life talk. All right, because we're running out of time, but I was really looking forward to it because JC will tell you how to live life, and he's really.
I had a really good one. All
right, we'll go for a minute because again,
we got to talk about some coffee today too.
The whole point of veteran trash talk is to promote veteran-owned businesses, and get that shit out there. But no, this is again, Mike. I've been inviting you for like months, and you keep ghosting us. But no, we literally don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about. Ever. So
I love it.
It's a dumpster fire.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I spend 5 minutes on the script, sometimes 3. If it's
if you wait to the last minute, it only takes a minute.
Exactly. So I actually did it. I actually did it in the golf cart yesterday. But yeah. So JC, give us a minute of how to live life.
All right, kindness. It's about kindness. Okay, and what we just did here, because it's clear, Mike and I, or Mike and Joel, we don't necessarily agree on some underlying principles, but we stayed civil. I don't think Mike's a moron. I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think, right? Because at the end of the day, I know he's a good human being. And when we all disagreed, it didn't go to ad hominem attacks. It went to, hey, here's the facts.
Can you spell that?
Here's my perspecth.
Probably can,
but I got to think about it.
Well, that's the rule on veteran trash talk. You can't use words you can't spell.
ADHOM.
That's why I don't talk that much.
It's not true, JC, because if it was true, I wouldn't be able to speak.
Yeah.
So
it's good Latin, not bad Latin.
So in my mind,
Spanish.
what we have to do is have discourse, have those conversations, because that's the way we'll, I believe that we can actually change each other's minds. I think that's very possible if we're open to it and we're listening, and we can come to a reasonable expectation. But it all starts with starting from a place of kindness. So I know Nick's heard this, and I know Joel's heard this, but what I would like us to do is start to really think about, am I starting any conversation I have from a place of kindness where I think the best of the person that I'm talking to?
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
I'd also, I like the idea you had. We talked about a few months ago, was having a 30-day, kindness on social media, zero negativity. Right. That's hard for me because I'm a Facebook terrorist, but
that's not possible.
It's not possible because I just have too much fun poking the bear. It is what it is. But no, I like that idea as well. But let's get to it. All right. So
thanks for the stars, Rob.
Yeah, Rob sent us stars. Yeah, so yeah, not as much as Mike did. Bob, get on it. So, anyways, so Mike set the bar at $3. Okay. Good. But no, again, we started Veteran Trash Talk a few years ago for our own therapy. And it's done very well. And once we got the reach, we're like, okay, what can we do to help? And so let's promote veteran-owned businesses. let's just do it. So when we linked up with JC a long time ago, he came on the show, and and we built our friendship, and I didn't even know that he was part of this company. I just thought he was trying to like influence it. So then he introduced me to Joel, and then Joel sent me a message saying, I don't know if I can send you the coffee because you were never in Ranger Regiment. And I was like, well, that's kind of bullshit, man. I was like, our eyes are real people too. All right. Like, who do you think trains your Rangers, Joel? All right. It's our eyes. Okay. So, but anyways,
I didn't say, let's clarify. I never said such a thing.
So you can tell Joel never watches the show because I introduce every guest with a flat out lie. And that's just how it goes. But hey, so go get some Ranger Essential coffee. Okay, it's
Good
really
stuff.
It's really freaking good.
It is.
And then they sent me this whole bean, so I didn't know how to make it. Right, so I put it in, and then I put water in it, and it just came out kind of like light. All right, like what are you?
I borrowed the neighbor's grinder last night.
What do you? Yeah, and then when I looked up grinder, I got spammed. It's like what is this crap? But anyways,
let's act like you haven't been on Grinder for years.
Yeah. I've been married for a long time. I have not been I was married before those apps existed. Anyways, but so hey, Ranger Essential Coffee. Tell us why you thought I'm going to start something new as a veteran and I'm going to create coffee.
Yeah, that's very unique to all the other.
Let me ask you, sell shirts
like
too.
us that sell shirts.
You grew a beard, so.
We're just fucking with you, brother.
Yeah, no, but Joel, welcome to the Dumpster Fire, JC.
Welcome.
Talk about your company,
Cheers.
how you started it. Talk a little bit about your service, what you got going on.
I served in 1st Ranger Battalion. I enlisted in 2001 after September 11th, and I served until 2006. Got out, did some contracting, and then was always into the entrepreneur stuff. And I was actually working on The Amazing Race in 2014, and we were moving through the Milan airport, and one of the camera guys is like, "Hey man, let's go get a coffee." And I'd already been drinking coffee from time to time, like green beans in Iraq, and it switched from when I was younger. I thought I was drinking a coffee where I went by Coffee Bean and got like a Frappuccino, and I was like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm drinking coffee like my dad." And it grew into where I was actually having like lattes, and then everything changed for me when I was in this Milan airport. We went up and we went to this coffee bar, and we said, "Hey, can we get a coffee?" And they gave us this little cup, and it was basically an espresso. Yeah. And we were like, and he said, here. And I said, what is this? And then they said, yeah, cafe. And I said, okay, well, and I started drinking it. And it was the first time I just drank an espresso straight. And so I got into the culture. We were there in Italy for a little bit more, and on every corner there's coffee, and so that kind of like spurred my interest. And then all the other countries that I would visit, I've been to approximately 62 countries, and every country had its its own little coffee element, and so it just kind of drew it further. And I thought, one day I'd love to do something like this. It was right around the time where I watched Black Rifle coming up, and so I looked at them and I'm like, wow, this is really cool what they're doing. And it was a couple of years ago.
Right now.
Yeah.
No,
I
Mike,
watched
we just had the CEO of Black Rifle Coffee on, Ben Owen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, it's Black Rifle Company. Sorry. Yeah,
Black Rifle.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So I talked to JC a couple of years ago, and I said, hey, I'm looking to do this. And that was like pre-COVID, and it just didn't launch. And we talked about, forming it. We kind of molded like what we wanted it to be, and regiment based, what we didn't want it to be. And then fast forward, it was actually, we launched in like November. Supposed to launch in August. It kept getting pushed. It's just the way life is, and so
what happens? You have officers there. It's just delay. Like I need Wardo 1, 2, and 3 before we go. Like what the?
Yeah, slip to the right. So anyways, yeah, we got it launched. We got it up there. A lot of it also, it evolved also as we were kind of saying like, oh, it's not ready. So what I was willing to launch with JC, like maybe last August. It evolved so much when we launched in November. And I think we were actually like what we launched with, we were very happy with.
Nice. So where do you get your coffee? Is it mainly, let's do a little Shark Tank. Is it mainly online? Is it in stores?
No, it's all online right now. It's all e-commerce on the website, rangeressentialscoffee.com. So we don't discriminate, we'd love to be into retail, but it's all about scalability. And so right now, we're just like a slow growth, slow and steady. We're building our subscriptions, and I think eventually, we'll start getting into some local markets and stuff in Austin, looking to do some farmers markets and stuff like that. So we're small. We're like, we're like Black Rifle Coffee before Sean Hannity started promoting them on Fox.
Yeah.
So where do you get your coffee beans? I guess where's it?
What does that look like?
That coffee
production and stuff.
Pretty legit. I'm almost out of the bag that you said.
It's good.
You're not supposed to eat them.
You can.
You actually can.
You can eat them.
No, man. Put them with chocolate.
That's what he had in his lip earlier.
Yeah.
That's how people actually quit coffee. Also, is they'll just start eating a seed a day with the caffeine. So, but no. So
I heard rectally the caffeine hits you faster. So.
Yeah,
that's true.
You heard or you tried that?
I'm not gonna.
He's talked about Grinder and all kinds of.
Yeah,
other
I got
things
Grinder
there.
and anal probing with coffee today. So
yeah, Nick's trying to invent his own coffee line. Also, it's like the ones that whatever
it's
that rodent
analytics.
Is, whatever that rodent is that eats him and then poops him out. He just puts him up his butt and then poops him out and then tries to sell them.
I want to say something about like why I love what Joel is doing. And what because this was his vision. I just jumped on because I'm like, everything he said like spoke to me, because I do think, and I got like, there's enough coffee organizations, there's enough coffee drinkers out there that everybody can have a spot at the table, right? And it's great. I love it. That said, people who are on both sides of the aisle drink coffee, and they shouldn't be excluded from a company because of a political view, of a political, platform. We're not pro-gun. We're not anti-gun. We're not pro anything or anti anything, except for we're pro
coffee,
country, and family. But whatever your God is, because again, Joel is a Christian. I'm a Buddhist, right? So it's whatever your spirituality is, but it's about coming together as Americans and saying like, we're all in this together. And oh, by the way, it's just coffee, right? We're not making a political statement. It's just coffee.
There are so many things that divide us in this country. If there's one thing that brings us together, it's coffee.
That's 100% agreed.
Absolutely. No, we had Carrie Beavers on here. She's the CEO of Soldier Girl Coffee. And it was fun having her on, and then the whole disaster of let's get into that conversation on another show about the women veterans when they attack each other is fucking brutal, right? But like it's she put an ad out on the History Channel for Soldier Girl Coffee, something like that, and it just it was so awesome having her on the show, and I'll get to a point here to where she was real nervous, you could tell. And as an entrepreneur, and like I was like, what was your hardest thing to do? She was like writing that check to advertise, to send that money to the History Channel, and then it's like, and just so what about your service do you think makes you a better entrepreneur, or what, like, is there anything that correlates that for the viewers watching about having the courage to start something like that and actually just say go?
I mean, that's all it was in Ranger Regiment. And I'm sure the same in the 82nd is like, it was like you were on a leash. And so, you're lunging forward and you're waiting for the word to say go. So, for me in the entrepreneurial world, it's just like, wait a second, you're saying I can go get that? Now look, I haven't blown it up, like some other companies and everything, but like the opportunities there, it's like, wait, I can go do that. Wait, I have a desire to do that, and I can go do that. What's stopping me from doing that? It's like, I'm going to go get it. Or if I'm not going to get it, I'm going to go try to get it. I'm going to try to get around. And so whatever it is to get the objective. And so in what made me a great ranger also so far has given me the ability to pursue these endeavors, because it's about survival, and it's about being able to pack your rucksack and get over there to the next cover and concealed position or whatever it is. A lot of this is difficult, and hard, and there's not a lot of people out there that maybe will believe in what you're trying to do. And so for me, a lot of the stuff I've done is I'm my own angel investor. So I'll do, let's say, if it's consulting gigs or whatever it is, and then I'll put that money back into the things that I'm doing. So I think
You
the
got your
open
little cash cow,
mindset, yeah, the open mindset of just like there is, the plan can change and all that kind of stuff, that carries over into the private sector.
Yeah, so those of you watching, again, there's a lot of, you can see it on our page as well, like a lot of the comments, the haters, right? There's like Mike said, everything divides us. We're finding some way to hate on somebody. And then like JC said, we're finding a way not to be kind. It's like you actually put more energy into being a douchebag than you do, like, if you put that energy into like going forward, right? And being nice to people. It's amazing the things that you can do. So yeah, entrepreneurship, anything that you want to be good at, it's probably going to take hard work, right? And the things are probably going to go wrong. And then if you're not surrounding yourself with the people that push you forward, and then, yeah. And one more thing. And then Victor, what your point, Joel, was Victor Paez is a good, big fan of ours and friend. He's got a bunch of businesses, and he's always like, and he still drives trucks. It's like, find your cash cow to start your businesses, and it's like, so that's a pretty cool point. Go ahead, Jason.
And knowing that failure is okay too.
Right.
Like, accept that.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna come across roadblocks. Like, just keep moving forward. Eventually you'll get there. My biggest thing is always like regret. Like, you don't want to be 80 or 90 because then it's too fucking late. At that point, like, they'll tell you, oh, you're 80 or 90, you can still start something up. No, you don't want to be laying there and be like, man, I should have went fucking for it. Yeah. Regret, I think, is my biggest fear. So hats off, brother. Get after it, and never stop. Don't give up.
I'll tell you, I want to hit one thing that's really exciting, and I think exciting for the VTT community is, we're not there. I mean, we're not even close yet. But one of the things that really excited me about Joel's idea is if we could ever get to the black rifle level or close to it, where we could offer franchise opportunities to veterans, and not that they have to buy into, but that we have investors that they'll pitch to that will invest into them getting the franchise, so that we can make it, because we know veterans come out and they don't have like a whole bunch of money to spend on to buy a franchise. We don't want them to, but we want the ability to have a business. And so we think, and I remember having this conversation like before COVID, is if we could create something where these men and women could come out of the military, get into a franchise, because they pitch a business plan, they learn how to put together a business plan, they pitch a business plan, investors buy in, and then we can give them a franchise so they can have something of their own. That's really important. And we want, like, that's where, at least for me, my goal is to get us to that level where we're like giving back. I don't want to be a Black Rifle Coffee because I want to drive a McLaren. I want to be a Black Rifle Coffee so that we can give a whole bunch of people opportunities to be successful.
Win-win. Win-win.
Nice.
Philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, there's I don't know if you've ever heard Patrick Murphy, the old Undersecretary of the Army, talk, but he's got a pretty decent pitch about veterans where he talks about, if veterans go into higher education, they look for their undergraduate or graduate degree, they are far more likely to start and succeed, achieve a degree. Veterans that go into entrepreneurial efforts are far more likely to succeed and build strong, thriving, verdant businesses than non-veterans. And if you take the things that made you successful in uniform and apply them to the civilian sector, man, there's nothing that's going to stop you, because out here in the real world, they can't, they can't do the things that they used to do to you in the Army or the Marine Corps or wherever you were. So it's a little bit lighter of a lift, and frankly, some of the stresses that go into building a business are remarkably comparable to some of the stresses you experience in combat operations or in sort of the run up to a deployment. The time stress, the deadlines, the constantly juggling multiple deadlines, multiple projects, multiple areas of focus at the same time. So yeah, if you've got the gumption and a little bit of the resources to jump in the fight, man, absolutely jump in.
I think the other thing is that there's also a degree of you're not it's not that you're scared of failure, but your metric for what failure is. Like, okay, like if you talked about going to higher education or starting a business, whatever. Like if I don't get this done, nobody's dying. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna die if I fuck this up. The only thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to have to restart, or I'm going to get set back a little bit, but I can reattack it. But I won't die. Like I'm not like when your definition of failure is death, everything else is like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but did you die? No, it's funny. It's funny, buddy, you're saying it because Megan, Dave's wife, is in the chat right now, and she's kind of just like laid all that out what you just said, and so that's kind of funny. But yeah, and a quick plug for Megan. That's her real estate company. All right, and that's what Dave works for. She hires veterans and has them on the Skill Bridge program. So if you need a house, go hit her up. Quantum State Realty.
I sell houses now.
You can't make commission. You can't make commission yet.
My fingerprints aren't back yet. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, honestly, if he
have to wait till June.
If he can't make commission, that's the best time to get him to sell. Like
exactly.
I think you can't.
Where's Quantum at? Where's Quantum?
Quantum State.
Phoenix.
We're in Arizona. Oh,
gotcha.
It's surprise.
Yeah. So, we need some houses out here in Scottsdale. We got some really nice places, just
I got my real estate license also here in Texas. So
nice. Good shit.
Yeah,
hustling.
Very nice.
Everybody's
third out, man. Third out.
Yeah. It's still a good market out here, man. We got everybody
for sure.
moving here.
Well, our fake Asian producer, the Marine, has to go early today, and his lovely mom is in town. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? She usually watches.
Hey, Carrie.
Carrie, hey.
Yeah, she's from San Diego, which is Spanish. We won't go there. But anyways, like that one we're talking about, Mrs. Mom.
Something to do with a whale, doesn't it?
Yeah. But we're not gonna put that in the same sentence with Carrie. Carrie's too awesome of a person to say that.
She is.
But hey, Mike, thanks for coming on and joining the crew and like helping the dumpster fire get kicked off. That was legit.
Hey, next time you need some accelerant, I'm your guy.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, buddy, before you get passed up by all the active duty guys getting on the plane, let's do a little AAR.
Ooh, I didn't read that part of the script.
No, I think
but I got you. You.
I'm actually supposed to do the AAR. I just wanted you to do it. I'm putting it on.
That sucks because I didn't even think. Anyway,
usually writes notes down when it says
takes notes.
Well, I'm in an airport. I can't really just write down notes. Anyway, Death Mountain, don't go there. Apparently, you'll cut your eyes out, bite your tongue off, or have an alien. They don't even probe you. They just kill you. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Or you get hit with a bag of radiation by the military with a truck.
A bag of radiation.
Something happens. It's bad.
A bag of radiation.
Also, if you really want to stir the pot, just start bringing up China and Russia in a group of veterans, and and it works. It works real well. You don't have to say anything. You just
no failure there.
China, Russia, talk, and then that works out. And then check out Joel's Coffee at Ranger Essentials Coffee. Like I legit have been drinking it for the last week or two. The bag that he sent, and I personally use it for my pour over, and because I'm snooty like that, and I have a pour over. So anywho, it's good. It's good, and they should call it like Ranger Essentials Heart Palpitation because it definitely gets you kickstarted. So
nice.
There you go.
All right, Dave, close us out.
Joel, final last words. You want to shoot that link out one more time? Rob's asking in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's rangeressentialscoffee.com.
Okay. We're gonna post that too after the show.
Hey Dave, if you drink Rangers Essential Coffee, will you break out into hives? Or
maybe. You never know.
That like give you the
I'm good at that.
I mean, you avoided Ranger School so much, like that's what he's talking about. Like, is there
Does it actually fortify your testicles with the nutrients?
No. I got big balls. I got big balls. I ain't worried about that.
Oh, and then before last word, because I love to talk, and it's again, like JC said, everybody could have a seat at the table. Like I have fire department coffee right here. Okay, I have Ranger Essential coffee. I got Black Rifle coffee. I got the guy we don't like. I got his coffee. And it's like he's just
the guy we don't like.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking. We don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
But I have his coffee. Again, so it's like buy it all. Just why can't you just get support better known businesses? Just do it. All right, go ahead.
If you're gonna get a subscription, just get a subscription to Ranger Essential Coffee Company.
Right.
Hey, great show, Joel. Thanks for coming on, man. Great stuff. I'm gonna order another bag, and I'm not a big coffee drinker, but it's definitely, I'd say it's healthier than drinking those fucking monsters. So good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some more.
But it's organic, single origin. Hey, look, the other thing is right now we have Valentine's promo going. So
we got a sale going on.
That's 20% off. Yeah, Love Rec 20.
Is that where you get your present for your wife that you're gonna use?
Pretty, yeah.
Why'd you give me a bowling ball?
That's crazy.
Good stuff, and we'll push that out. Mike, JC, pleasure. Mike, it was a pleasure having you on. JC's been on a couple times. Great show overall. JC brought it up earlier. Like we had a bit of a disagreement going on, but it was great how we handled it. I think that sets a fucking example of how everything should be handled. Like have a disagreement, that's okay. We'll talk about it, and then we're good to go.
I was actually waiting for the name calling to start because it's been a really long time since a Ranger yelled at me in front of people. So I was kind of looking forward to it.
Well, there were no knife hands or anything. The knife hands were about to come out. Yeah.
No name calling. I love healthy debates.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a prime example of how it should go.
I like
everybody that tuned
fires.
in late, go to veterantrashtalk.com. It has the links to everything. Check out gruntworksclothing.com. We got some awesome apparel. I don't think anybody's wearing a Gruntworks shirt.
I'm wearing Ultimate Sacrifice Foundation. That's who we donate to.
Nice. Go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com and check out some of the. Go ahead, buddy. I'm just going to stop trying to close this out because you're fucking interrupting.
It's a dumpster
Get on the
fire.
fucking plane, buddy. It's a fucking
what Joel failed to mention is that
you failed, Joel.
Ranger Essentials coffee is also fair trade. So
Man, checking all the blocks. I love it.
I like it. We'll catch you all next Saturday.
Hey, there's little surprises everywhere.
You guys can stay on. Yeah.